Hi, everybody. I'm that girl Goddess, and I'm going to talk about how spam calls, all these telemarketer calls, affect you. A lot of us work, most of us work during the day, and we get calls back to back. And yes, a lot of job sites allow you to have your phone on you because the truth to the matter is we have children in school. We may have relatives in the hospital and nursing homes, and we have a lot of important calls that will call us. And so we have to answer our phone. So we get to answering this phone. The one thing our employer is looking at, we're on the phone all day, it seems like. And a lot of people are being rolled up. They're not answering calls. The school's calling them. And they get on the phone. They don't answer their phone, and the school is calling CPS. Their children are having medical crisis. They can't get them on the phone. It's a lot going on. You have people in nursing homes. They're calling you, letting you know that your relatives has made their transition, and they can't get you on the phone because you're scared to answer your phone because you've been rolled up. And none of these calls are emergencies. You have babysitters calling, trying to contact you. Your baby just had an asthma attack. Can't get them on the phone because you scared to answer your phone because of these spam calls. And most of them ain't nothing but scams. And you calling your relatives that's elderly, they won't pick up the phone because they get so many calls. I sat at one of my clients' house and she said, answer the phone. I answered and asked them to stop calling because within a half an hour, we had 20 calls. And it's the same call about Medicare. And she already had Medicare. Part 1, 2, 3, whatever, B, C, everything. And they called. I picked up the phone. 8 of those calls was from Medicare. I said, could y'all stop calling? She already has the plan. She's not interested. Would you please stop calling? And then there was other spams telling her auto insurance, no, her auto warranty had expired. She didn't even own a vehicle. They called. They called about the house warranty, the water warranty. They called. It was so many different calls that I said, could y'all, this is an elderly person. Could y'all stop playing on her phone? No, no, and no. And she said, that's why I don't answer my calls. But she had some crisis, had just came out the hospital, and there's no consideration. And we have government officials that's supposed to protect us. Why aren't they doing something about these spam calls and telemarketing calls with all the complaints? Then they tell you to download the app, pay $5 a month so you won't have to receive these calls, and they still come through. But now they got a new scam. We gonna make you pay us not to call you. It's ridiculous. Everything is already expensive and high. And I always say, you got all these government officials and all these federal companies, federal things in place like the FDC, the FDA, and the Communication Commission, and you are harassed all day. Ain't nobody making your food safe, but all these people getting these long checks, and you being harassed all day, and you potentially can lose your job or can't meet an important call because of all the spam calls that you get. And when I say 20 calls in 30 minutes, I sat with her for 4 hours. And do you know, like clockwork, she had at least 20 to 30 calls every hour. That's too much. I put my phone on do not disturb, but I got to call to make sure on a lot of important calls, or go on my lunch and try to make a call, tell them they got to call me through my lunch. And a lot of them can't, because if your child's sick and she at school, you got to come pick up that child. If they had to take them to the hospital, you got to go. Okay? And them schools aren't playing. You don't show up, you don't answer them calls, you can't be there, CPS is coming out. And it's something simple. I just am at the point right now, it's like the harassment need to stop. And the Bible talk about harassing demons. And that's all this is. You know, half these federal agencies, you got a whole public assistance in order, but you have all these foreigners, illegal immigrants. We ain't even talking about the legal ones that's scamming, but we talking about the illegal immigrants. And you have Americans fighting us, telling us not to vote against them. When you do something illegally, the law should be enforced. Okay, we're not even talking about the illegal immigrants. We talking about the illegal immigrants. We talking about the illegal immigrants. And it's ridiculous because we don't have enough money for the resources that we need, or to have things done that's needed here, because of all of the scams. But the people who talking, a lot of them, government officials and all that kind of stuff, they got a loan check, and most of them, if you investigate them, and I don't know why they not under investigation, it's part of the illegal stuff. You know, and I'm praying to God that he block and stop all this stuff that's against the people, the hardworking people, the Americans, because the blessings in this land and resources should come to the American people first. You have elderly people whose homes need roofs, but you get people come over here and they may not fully have their citizenship, and some of them do, and they get all these grants to redo their house, but Americans can't get it. I feel the public assistance should go out and investigate and talk to these people and see what repairs they need to their homes and have them done. These people are living in some traps, and I go out there and I see it. And then you get all these calls scamming them. They trying to look up to see what they can get, resources for their roof or something like that. And here go all these scammers. And then they take advantage of them. But what about the free grants and programs here in America for Americans? Okay. You have a lot of people over here, come over to here. They get a home, they get a grant for $150,000, $70,000. And American people are struggling to pay for homes. And the government's helping people before they help the people that help build this nations over here. When is it going to give? When is the government going to fight for the American people? Everybody's not millionaires and making a 6-digit figure. The vast majority live below that. When are you going to help the people who are in need? Because a lot of their problems when they do go wayward is because you got jobs. Like I talked to this lady today. I was in Burger King, and she turned around and told me that she had on a scrub, and I said, okay, where you work? And she was like, I work at this place. She told me, I ain't gonna give up the name. She said, but they only pay $8.50. And she was smiling. Because, you know, minimum wage is still $7.15. The government is not enforcing this. And they know you can't live off this. It's common sense. You ain't going to tell me the president, and I ain't saying he's behind this, is going to sit there and say he ain't going to raise the cost of living. Yeah, that's what he said. I said, but the cost of living is so low. You make $8 an hour and you pass the cost of living. So you don't qualify for nothing. But all these illegal immigrants, somehow they get all these benefits and they qualify for everything, and then all these grants. I'm just saying about America being great again, we need some officials that really care for Americans. Really care for Americans and want to do what's right by the people. Because if you help fix these people's houses, people wouldn't be out here, their family wouldn't be out here doing some of the things they do to try to help their people. And I'm not in agreement with crime. But at some point, somebody got to help. I went on these elderly people, they toilets not working, they tub ain't worked in years, and they give them $23 on a EBT card. Who can buy food or the month with $25 a month? Well, it's really 23. One person benefits, if they qualify, is supposed to be 200 and I think it's $90. Why can't they just get the standard? Why are they being discriminated and they on fixed income? They don't have transportation to get things. It's like I'm not voting for nobody until I see somebody go in and make a difference. And this been going on since I was a child here. And ain't nobody did anything to help the poor, especially the elderly. They retired on fixed income. Some of them never had a job, but the law allowed it because in order to get public assistance, you're supposed to have a job, work at least 20 hours. Okay, I feel like if your children doing a full day in school, you should do at least 30 hours. And you still at the poverty level. Unless you got a real good job making real good money. Okay. It's time to enforce some of these laws in public assistance, because a lot of the social workers, they were scamming and getting half these people benefits and doing all kind of stuff. And I ain't gonna say allegedly, because I knew a few workers that was doing it. Workers getting investigated and being bust every day. And they's on the news of all the scamming they've been doing. Who's watching these officials? Because if you call your local ombudsman or petition to them, 90% of the time it's not even heard. It should be an automatic investigation at least 3 times a year, every 4 months or every 3 months. At least. But you can't go years and years, 10 years of stealing and then want to say something like the CDLs. They buying CDLs. And I would tell a person in a minute, no, you get a lot of them foreign drivers, they cannot drive. But it's amazing how these illegal immigrants get the okay, the green light for everything. And just about 90% of the stuff they do is illegal. And the people of Americans born here can't get it. I don't know. Y'all talk back to me. Let me know how y'all feel. Because I use YouTube too as a platform to even get us Americans on the same accord. Even put it out there. Okay? So I'm that girl goddess. Like, share, and subscribe. And bye.